Hey, what is up, guys? It is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today we are going to be doing a reveal on a stunt or a magic trick that David Blaine actually performed for Tom Brady. So if you haven't seen the performance, you can always Google, David Blaine's name into the Google search bar, and actually, there are a bunch of articles about it. Basically, what David Blaine did on Tom Brady's Instagram was he basically took a wine glass and he started chewing on it, and he basically ate the glass. Now we are basically going to explain to you guys exactly how this works. So like I said, if you haven't seen the performance, you can always Google his name, or if you can always check out Tom Brady's Instagram, and the performance is right there. So basically, like I said, the act is him taking a wine glass and starting, he starts to chew on it and basically swallows a wine glass, and I'm going to explain to you guys how this is done. So with some research, I basically came up with a few methods. I'm going to go over the most practical method first, and then I'll go over the, I guess the least practical method that he would have used. So I'm going to basically explain to you guys exactly how I believe this is done. Now this is going to be more of the conversation type video, basically where I'm going to be feeding you guys ideas. So I'm sorry if this does get boring. I'll try to just shuffle around or do something with the deck or something. But so I apologize if this is a boring video, but it is just going to be me talking about how I believe this trick was done. Okay, so without wasting any time, we'll get straight into it. But first, you can always check out our Instagram, cardshuffler_99. Be sure to check out, all of our videos. We did actually post a video on a Matt Franco card trick that was really, really cool. So be sure to check that out. We posted that earlier today. So make sure you watch that video. And anyway, let's talk about the performance. So basically, David Blaine, he took a wine glass and he started chewing on it. And I guess the question that a lot of you might be asking is, how can you chew glass without cutting yourself or basically dying? Okay, so obviously, before we get started here, I don't want any of you guys who are watching this video to try to even attempt to do what David Blaine did. Okay, we are not responsible for you guys, of course. So if you do get injured doing this act for some reason, we are not responsible for it. But please, guys, I highly recommend you guys do not try this at your home, okay? This is very important. Safety is always number one. And David Blaine, he's a master magician. He's been doing these kinds of things for years. He's already mastered sword swallowing, regurgitation, all these kinds of acts. And, obviously eating broken glass has got to be something on his list. So what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to explain to you guys how it works. So the first idea is that he actually ate the glass. Now, a lot of people think that the glass actually isn't glass and that it's sugar glass. So if you don't know what sugar glass is, it's basically a mixture of glass and sugar kind of melted together, and then they add a few other ingredients into it to make sure that the glass doesn't crystallize again. And that's what a lot of people think. Now, that is often used for stunts and stuff like that. It's very fragile. However, I don't believe that that is actually how it's done. But if you guys, want to take that method into consideration, I'm actually going to talk about what I actually think happened. I do not think he used sugar glass. Now, he very well could have used it. It's a lot easier to definitely use sugar glass than a real glass, of course. But let me talk about what I think he actually did. So if you didn't know, okay, glass is basically if you know what sand is, obviously, you can take sand and you can put that into glass, and basically sand is kind of a very refined version of glass. And at the time, basically, if you can take a piece of glass and you can chew on it to the point where it's so refined, so small, that it won't actually cut you, you can actually attempt to swallow it. So if you didn't know, TLC, they actually have a show. It is known as My Strange Addiction, and there's actually a man on that show who actually eats glass on a daily basis. I'm not kidding you guys. You guys can check that out for yourself. But he basically, I don't think he does it anymore, but he used to eat glass every single day. So I'm telling you, it's possible. So honestly, I think David Blaine actually did it. Brian Brushwood actually posted a video on YouTube about how to eat a glass light bulb. Now, magicians have been doing these kind of chewing on these glass light bulbs and swallowing it. They've been doing that act for so long. And basically all that David Blaine did is he took that act where people or magicians chew on a light bulb, and they took that idea and they basically brought it, David Blaine turned that into like a wine glass trick. Now, basically, if you take a small piece of glass and you put it in your mouth and you start chewing on it. Now, you have to chew on the glass in a certain way. So David Blaine, to avoid cutting himself, he has to chew the glass in a certain way. Now, you have to think of glass as, for example, like a knife. Okay? Now, once again, I'm not explaining this trick to you guys so you guys can go do this yourself. Please do not do this yourself. Do not do this at home. I'm just explaining to you guys exactly what he did. So, think of glass as like a knife, okay? If I take the blade and I kind of go up and down with my finger like this, I'm not going to get cut. The only time I get cut is if I actually slice my finger, right? So glass works the same way. Glass cuts you when it slices. It doesn't just, cut you. You can always touch glass. It'll be sharp, but obviously it won't cut you until you slice the glass onto like your skin or something like that. So if you take your mouth, okay, and basically David Blaine, he has to chew where he just takes his teeth and he just chews up and down. Now, obviously, he has to be very careful not to take his tongue and kind of move the glass around his mouth or do anything with his gums or anything like that. He has to be careful with that because all he's allowed to do is just go up and down with his teeth and just chew until it gets to a very refined point. Now, like I said, I did do a lot of research on this, and I did watch that video that Brian Brushwood put out. And basically, all it is just getting that glass so refined to the point where it's, where you can actually swallow it, to the point where it kind of feels like sand, I guess you could say. So if you take a piece of glass and you just start, munching on it, now, again, you have to be careful. The only time the glass will actually cut you is if you start moving your tongue or moving the glass and sliding the glass around your mouth. The only thing you're allowed to do is actually just chew up and down on that glass. Kind of like if you take a piece of glass and you put a hammer, you start smashing it with a hammer. Something like that, obviously, is what you would want to do with your teeth. Instead of kind of moving around, that'll prevent you from getting cut. And then, obviously, from there, you can actually go ahead and swallow it. Now, like I said, magicians have been swallowing, glass for decades now. I mean, they've been originally starting with light bulbs, which, kind of wore off that idea because, some light bulbs have, like, toxic chemicals inside where you don't want to swallow it. So I think David Blaine came out with the idea, let's just use a wine glass, which is pretty smart. And like I said, all it is just, taking your teeth and going up and down in motion and, avoiding cutting your mouth. And then at that point, you can just swallow it. Now, like I said, Dave Blaine has been doing all these things. He's mastered sword swallowing, regurgitation. He knows how to, like, operate his throat kind of thing, At the same time, he's got all these doctors that's going to tell him, the best methods to swallow glass and everything. And I'll tell you this, magicians have been doing it for years. And like I said, a random guy who's not even a magician was on TLC for eating glass. Like, he ate bottles and wine glasses, and he ate all these different forms of glass, and he would just eat that for fun. And I'll tell you this, it definitely is possible. Now, if you notice in the actual performance, I actually read an article that stated if you eat a banana, or I guess something like a banana, before you perform this act, the undigested banana will actually help kind of take in that, like, broken glass. That way you can digest it faster and you can get it out of your system easier. Now, if you notice in the performance at the end of the trick, a lady actually offered, after David Blaine ate the glass, she offered David Blaine a banana. Now, my thought, the minute I saw that banana and I read the article, I basically said, maybe, David Blaine, when he was just hanging around, maybe he was eating a banana. Okay, maybe he was just hanging out. He decided, okay, I'm going to try this trick. I'm going to eat a banana so it helps me digest the glass, I guess, an easier way to digest the glass. So the reason I feel that the lady offered a banana is kind of like, if you think about it, if he already took a banana from them and now he's starting to eat glass, they're, it's kind of the feeling like, oh, no, don't eat the glass kind of thing. Here, you could take another banana, for example. So that's my idea. That's why she offered a banana of all things, because he probably already ate a banana that day. So, she probably knew that he likes bananas for some reason. But in reality, he was probably using a banana before the trick to help digest that glass. And like I said, I did actually read an article about this that actually proves that, you can actually swallow glass if it's, in a very small and refined form, kind of like a sand-like texture. If you swallow it, the glass will actually, in your stomach, I guess it'll actually hold onto the glass and it'll make it easier to kind of get out of your system. So like I've said, I believe that he really did swallow the glass, and all he did was, he was very careful. Obviously, he didn't just go out to Tom Brady and say, hey, I'm going to just start chewing on this glass. Never done this before, but I'm going to give it a shot. No, I don't think he does that. For sure, he definitely has practice, and, I'm sure he's cut himself before, practicing, but, it takes time to, master the idea of just, not being able, because typically when people eat, they move the food around their mouth. This, you have to be very careful because obviously the glass can slice and cut your mouth if you're not careful. So all you're really allowed to do is just take your mouth and just start chomping down, slowly, carefully, making sure that it's not going to cut anything. And at that point, you can swallow it. The banana, I mean, I'm sure it is possible that works. And, the fact that I even read an article that stated that a banana is going to help you digest glass better, and the fact that I saw banana in the performance, that kind of gave me ideas there that he actually did swallow and eat the glass. Now, like I said earlier in the video, it could be sugar glass. Like I said, that is kind of a combination of glass and water and some other ingredients, and it's it is something that I guess your average kid out there, or maybe high schools or something, if they need to break glass instead of breaking real glass, sugar glass can be used as stunt glass. Now in movies and films and stuff, they actually don't use that because it is very fragile, sugar glass. Now, obviously, sugar glass does have the same effect as typical glass. It can, cut you just as easily as any other glass that you have out there. So, you have to be very careful, of course, when you're playing around with glass. You don't want to be David Blaine and every day, I guess you could say. I mean, I doubt any of you guys are out there swallowing swords or regurgitating frogs or, chewing on some glass. So, like I said, do not attempt this at home. I highly recommend that you guys, the purpose of this video in general was for me to explain to you guys that it actually is possible for you to chew on glass, because magicians have been doing this forever. They started with light bulbs, and now it's kind of moving its way to wine glasses. People have been doing this for so long now, so I'm telling you, it is possible. It is probably not a candy glass, which is what a lot of people are saying. It's probably not a candy glass. It definitely is possible. I mean, like I said, people have been doing it. Even non-magicians have been chewing on glass and enjoying glass. So this is just for me to explain that to you guys, that it is possible, because I hear a lot of people asking about how this was done. Someone actually commented asking if we could reveal and explain how this is actually done. And like I said, all it is just, the careful movement of the teeth, making sure that, the glass doesn't move around your mouth, slicing you or cutting you. It's just very careful movements, because glass cuts by slicing. It doesn't cut just by touching a surface. But yeah, that is really the entire video. This is my take on how David Blaine performed his glass eating routine on Tom Brady's Instagram. Once again, if you haven't seen the actual video, I probably will put a link in the description section below where you guys can check that out. But, I hope this video does give you guys, an idea that this is not fake. Me being a magician, I know that the last thing you want to hear from people is that your tricks are fake. And I highly doubt, David Blaine definitely, of all people, he would probably be the last person to fake a trick. So 100% keep that in mind. And once again, do not attempt this at home. This is just an informational video. We are not responsible if you guys hurt yourself trying this. But anyway, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this informational video. And this is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out, guys.